Today is November 15th, 2021, and I just quit my job. Whew. I'm just sitting with that for a second because the reasoning of why I quit is so different from any other like resignation I've done in the past or anything like that, because the job that I quit was one that I was so grateful for because it allowed for me to work from home, help to support the family, be here with Emery, and just have so much more flexibility. But it also allowed me to be here at home to grow my business as well. And over the last year and a half, I've been doing business coaching, and I never imagined that it would have turned into what it is today. It's now going to be a company, the station. Well, I'm so used to in the stationary Muse. It's now going to be a company, the Inspire Blueprint.
Well, I can't get downstairs.
Okay, so I have a visitor now. But over the last year and a half, I started to really notice how quickly my coaching business has picked up. And it hasn't even been, it's not even necessarily like just like a one-shot thing, like, oh, this is like a lucky month or something, but in general. And because of that, it means obviously that I've been making a huge impact in a lot of different lives as well. And I'm so grateful for that. And so it's been some months now of me and my husband going back and forth of, you know, should I stay, should I leave? And a lot of it was me stopping myself, because he 100% supported me leaving. But it's a whole mindset shift that you have to go through when you decide something big like this. It's a whole thing, because I know that I can do it, but I didn't believe that I could. And that's kind of what I wanted to just talk about. I don't know how long this is going to be. I don't even know when I'm going to put this video up, but there's a difference between knowing you can do something and believing you can do something. And I've 100% learned that through this process. And I've 100% seen that through this process of trying to decide whether or not I wanted to stay at my job or not. And there's just been a lot of things too more recently with the job where the hours were really down to nothing almost anyway, so it just didn't even seem like a good use of my time anymore. You know, to where I could be pouring it back into my own business or just pouring it back into my own time, you know, with my daughter and everything. So I thought I'd be like crying or something, but I think it's just because this is a long time coming. This is something that I have been thinking about since this year started, since 2021 started. It was something that I knew was going to happen at some point this year, and yeah, I just didn't know the day. So today was the day. I guess now the next thing is to just really continue doing what I'm doing, but I have so many things I want to do, so many things I want to focus on and plan and do for the new year. And now I just think that this just opens up a wide opportunity for me to do that. So I do still have a couple weeks left to just tie up some loose ends, which really isn't a ton of stuff to do. But again, like the people that I worked for, like I really just, they are amazing. Like out of everyone that I've ever worked for, they're by far my favorite. Even when there were moments that it was stressful, because I've talked about that on here before when I was in a previous role with them, it was really stressful. But even in that, I was still so grateful and still enjoyed it, you know? So it's just one of those things where work is work, right? So it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies, but that's pretty much it. I just had to say this, document this. This is pretty huge, and I'm pretty proud of myself. You know, if you guys been following along, it's really hard for me to say I'm proud of myself, and I'm working on it a lot more. But the fact that I was even able to do this today and know that it will be all right is just amazing. Yeah, it's like when you know you can do something, you know that, you know, maybe you've seen your track record, or you know that you have the credentials, or you know that, you know, people have given you, you know, good feedback or whatever it is. Like, you know that because you can kind of see the different things on paper or right in front of you that have kind of unfolded and have happened. And so that's really the knowing. But the believing is more so the faith piece that you really have to grasp. You really have to I don't even know, because it's something that, you know, I'm working through every day. But the faith piece of believing is really giving it to God and knowing that he wouldn't steer you wrong. And I have been putting it off for months and months because I was scared, because I didn't believe that I could do this. And, you know, it's definitely not about to be an easy road and all of a sudden, like, everything's going to be amazing. You know, like, running a business is really a lot of work. It's not easy. It's not. And I've been doing it for the last 5 years, so it's not anything new to me, but it's definitely different. And so one thing I was going to say too is it's weird because, so this has technically kind of happened on 3 occasions. So back in 2017, right before we moved here to New Mexico, I was laid off from my job. It was such a weird situation, and even to this day, I still don't really know the real reason as to why, but I strongly believe it really had a lot to do with my natural hair, which I think is like really crazy and just like whatever, but it just, nothing really added up. I wasn't really there for that long. There was never any bad reports as far as anything that I was doing. Of course, there were a couple things I was still learning, but I was literally within like the first 3 or 4 months of me working there. And so after just everything and piecing all of the stuff together, me and my family kind of just really chalked it up to like, okay, I think it really was my natural hair, because it was like more of a front-facing role, and I just don't think they were comfortable with that, because I used to wear my hair in a lot of curly styles at that time. Yeah, which is crazy, but it was the first time that I was challenged to do this. So I didn't have a job going into like the summer of that year and everything, and I decided to just, you know, really put all into my business, because we were thinking about moving to New Mexico anyway, and I was like, well, it's no need to really apply for a job here, or whatever the case. And so I ended up not having a job for about, let me see, June, July, August, September, about 5 months, and I ended up starting my subscription box. And then fast forward to the following year, I ended up getting another job. I didn't mention that. I got another job when we moved to New Mexico, and I loved that job. I loved what I was doing. And so I found out I was pregnant. And when I found out I was pregnant, I didn't tell my job right away. I think I waited a couple months. But I ended up telling them like earlier than most people do. I don't think I was quite at the 3-month mark yet. But anyway, it was like after I told them, all of a sudden things got really weird, and I ended up leaving. Because first of all, you know, like when you're pregnant, you don't want to have your stress levels on 10. I was crying on almost every day. There were just a lot of awkward situations, a lot of just pushback, and it just was not healthy. So I ended up leaving there, and I still to this day don't really know what the real reason of why I was being treated that way. I don't know what it is, and I don't know if it was like God's way of telling me like, you know, you don't need to be working for nobody or something. I don't know. I have no idea, but that happened, and so I ended up leaving there, and then a couple months later I had my daughter. So it was great because I had opportunity to stay home with her, and that was really when I started really taking my YouTube channel seriously, was while I was pregnant with her. And you know, after she was born, it started to really just become like a thing for me. And so then a couple years later of this channel growing and everything, that's really where this business coaching thing even came from. You know, like this was never something that I ever planned to do, which is what makes it so strange. But I actually took this personality test like a week or two ago. It's called the Strengths Finder test, and it was right on the money with I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. Like it was very reassuring to read the results and to see what I'm high in as far as like my what do you call it? I don't remember what they call them. I would have to go pull it up. But basically they have like these different descriptions of what different people can be and what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. And the strengths that were my top 4 strengths are very in line with what I do every day, especially in terms of business coaching. And so it's just so crazy. It's crazy. It really is crazy. But then with this third job, I ended up getting that about a year after my daughter was born. I just felt like, you know, we needed a little extra income. And I really wanted to be able to help support the house a little bit more as well. And so that was when I went back to work in this job that I just resigned from. And overall, all I will say is it couldn't have been a better fit, just with everything going on of me trying to be at home with my daughter and all of that. But this past couple of weeks, I noticed that it was like almost like I was going to be taking on more stuff again. And that was when I was finally like, okay, I think that it might be time for me to say something, because it's not fair to continue operating in 20%, you know, when they're looking for somebody to be at 100%. And so that was when I finally decided that I needed to stop being a non-believer in the terms of my potential and what God can do, you know. And I decided that it was time to just really step out on faith and make this dream happen, continue making this dream happen. And so that's where we're at. But the biggest thing I want you to take away from this is just that in order for you to do anything in life, whether it's a business or not, and this is something I feel like I've learned just within the last year, honestly, this is a very new lesson for me. You can know all day what you are capable of. You know, you got the accolades, you have all of the receipts, if you want to call it that, in order to do it. But until you truly believe on the inside and you put that faith in God, you really are never going to do anything until you believe. You know, when you believe, it's so different. And so even those last 2 times that I left those jobs, got laid off from that job, left the other one, and now this, it feels different with each time. You know, the first time I was crying, I was distraught, I couldn't believe it. The second time it was like I was hopeful but really doubting myself. And then this time I'm like, no, we're going all in. I got this. I'm gonna do this. This is it. And so I don't know if it's like 3 times the charm. I don't know what it is, but it just feels so different, and it feels like such a shift in who I am, my mindset. And I am just so excited for what's to come. And so I just had to share that with you guys because this is such a big life change for me. And I'm just really grateful for it. I can't wait to continue to just help even more women. And just so excited to see where everything goes. I still do my stationery business as well, because I know I haven't really mentioned that as much. I still do my stationery business. It's not going anywhere. I love it. And the next really plan for me is to hopefully get some help. My sister's been helping me for a little bit, and I've really been enjoying having her help, but she has her own life and things going on. And so I'm really going to be looking for someone that's going to be able to help me to kind of take this to the next level and get more organized and just take some things off my plate, because it's a lot on one person. Like, it's a lot, and I have a lot of goals and things that I want to do, but only 2 hands. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with it. You okay?
Yeah, I did this first.
Yeah, go ahead. You tracing?
Yeah. Wait, I'm gonna trace the O.
The letter O?
Yeah.
We've been doing virtual preschool, y'all, so she's learning so much from that, but she's talking about tracing the letter O. But I'm gonna go so that we can get our evening started. I'm gonna make some dinner and everything, but I just had to share this with you guys. it feels so light right now. It feels so light. Like it was just, there's never really a perfect time to do things like this, but I feel like it couldn't have been more perfect at the same time. So that's pretty much it. I'll definitely be updating you guys more. Nothing's changing on this channel or anything. If not, if anything, there'll be even more content coming. But
Mommy,
I'm just so grateful.
is that old?
Hold on, babe. I'm just so grateful, and I just have to thank God for this moment. I have to thank God. I have to thank you guys as well, because a lot of your support here and just the comments you guys give, all of those things have really helped me with my faith and believing. Just so much. So I appreciate you as well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.